In today's video, I'm going to discuss the best tips for sleep training your child with autism. Coming up. Hi, welcome back to the Aspie Mama. I'm Danny. My channel is here to provide understanding, support, and knowledge to new moms on the autism journey. I provide weekly videos with tips and tricks to help you on your new journey. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. There's a few things that arise with a child with autism and sleep. Generally, children with autism have a lot of sleep issues that range from insomnia, trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, trouble falling asleep in their own bed. So I'm just going to discuss a few strategies that have really worked for us and seem to work for other people really well. Sleep is so important to your child, and any child, it's really important that they get a good night's sleep, and I'm going to tell you why. Because sleep can really affect a lot of core functions for people. This can affect anything from anxiety, depression, growth, executive function, memory problems, weight problems. All of those things can really affect your child when they're not getting enough sleep. So that's why it's really important to sort out a good bedtime routine that helps your child fall asleep and stay asleep. Generally, when there's problems, behavioral problems, and this sort of thing that affects something on a bigger, grander scale, generally the best approach is to try behavioral interventions or natural interventions before medication. Look, I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just giving opinions and strategies that I've heard and that I know work well. If you have any questions about any of the strategies that I mentioned, be sure to speak to your pediatrician and follow up with them and see which route might be best for your child. So my first tip for helping your child have a better sleep routine is to have a good schedule and set expectations. What I mean by that is letting your child know we're going to go to bed at X time, you're going to lay down, mommy's going to read you a story, and then I'm going to tuck you in, and then it's nighttime, and then we don't come out of our bed unless we have to go to the bathroom. If your child is going to the bathroom by themselves, then that would be part of it. If they're not, then nothing needs to be said on that part. If your child is co-sleeping, then the first thing for you would be work on getting them to sleep in their own bed. What we do with our kids, because we've had a few that have had trouble with this, is we let them fall asleep in our bed, and then once they're asleep, we move them to their bed. And before they fall asleep, we remind them every night while we're in this process that mommy's gonna let you fall asleep on her bed, but then once you fall asleep, I'm gonna put you to sleep in your bed, and you're gonna stay in your bed because you're a big girl or a big boy, right? And a lot of times just setting these expectations with your child really helps them do better with it. It may take a few nights, it may take a week, but they'll get it and they'll do well. And then once you get them falling asleep in your bed and then staying in their bed and sleeping well through the night, then you can start transitioning them to falling asleep in their bed. So you just move it step by step away, start with the core issue, and then move to the next thing to try to help them do better. And then there's some kids that are just naturally resistant to sleep. My eldest is this child. He's always had a hard time falling asleep. He goes to sleep in his own bed. He's never co-slept. But he has a really hard time falling asleep, and he can be up hours and hours frustrated because he can't fall asleep. So that's where tip number 2 comes in. An OT therapist, an occupational therapist, can really help you come up with a routine or system to help get your child to fall asleep at night. They can suggest sensory things, they can suggest a schedule to help get your child ready for bed so they know what's coming. So I really recommend speaking with your occupational therapist to set up a personal and unique schedule for your child. But in general, it would be something like they'll have dinner, then they'll have a bath, they'll brush their teeth, they'll put pajamas on, you'll read them a book, and then they'll have a drink or a kiss goodnight, and then they're gonna stay in their bed. And then sometimes, in addition, an occupational therapist might suggest that you give them a massage if your child likes deep touch, intense touch, because they're more sensory seeking. Then they may suggest, that you give them a little bit of massage on their arms and legs to help them settle and calm down. If they're a child that doesn't like touch as much, then they may have another suggestion for you of what might help them. But in general, in their room, you want the room to be a calming environment. You don't want a lot of noise. You don't want a lot of color. You want a very calm, quiet environment, and it'll really help them to not get distracted and make it easier for them to fall asleep. Tip number 3, make sure to stay positive. A few things that can really help in succeeding in your nighttime routine, especially when you're creating a new routine, is to do a few things that are extra special for your child, like read their favorite book, make them their favorite dinner, maybe they have their favorite snack before they go to bed, something to keep them uplifted and in a positive mood, because we all know kids with autism, once their mood starts to go down, it's a slippery slope, and you don't want that right before you're trying to put them to bed. Tip number 4, your child may resist a new routine, but it's important that you follow through and be consistent. As long as you see that they're capable of doing this and it's not something that's unattainable for them, I recommend to see it through. If you feel like you've really set certain expectations too high and your child just can't cope with those, then maybe reevaluate what you're asking and break it down into smaller steps and start there. For example, if your child likes to co-sleep, don't automatically put them straight in their bed and expect them to go to sleep. It's not going to happen, and especially a child with autism, that kind of transition and change is going to be very hard for them. So break it down a little bit like I told you earlier, and let them fall asleep in your bed, and then move them to their bed, and then once they're doing that and staying asleep through the night, then start putting them to bed in their own bed. So little things like that of breaking it down and making it easier for them. And tip number 5 is, if you don't think you can follow through with it, just don't do it. It's the worst thing you can do is to start to do something and not follow through. If you don't think that you have the willpower or the resources to help you follow through, then don't do it. It may take a few nights of having a tag team with you or your spouse, or you and a family member, or you and an occupational therapist, whoever you can help get you to get your child into a new sleep routine that it may require. You need to make sure that you have that support and guidance, because if you don't have it and you're not properly prepared or ready to follow through 110%, then don't try it, because then when you are ready, it's going to make it a lot harder. So just make sure you're really prepared and set up for success. Alright, so those are my 5 tips to help you sleep train your child with autism, and I hope that it's going to help you get a better sleep routine and get more sleep at night. All kids and parents need more sleep at night, so the more sleep everyone's getting, the better. Alright, so if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the notification bell and get a notification for the next video.